Hello, my name is Christine Paulson. I'm the Marketing Director at Tango. We're excited to have two speakers today. We have a customer, Matt Welker, the Head of Client Care from Autodesk Shotgun Software. And we have Dan Preiss, Senior Product Manager at Totango. Together, the two of them are going to present and discuss SuccessPlays. So let's learn how customer success processes are getting automated at Autodesk Shotgun Software. So without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to Dan, who's going to begin the webinar. Dan?
Thanks, Christine. So I wanted to, I'm going to go ahead and switch the slide here, give a brief overview before we kind of go into how Shotgun uses SuccessPlays and how they've been able to leverage it. And then after that, we'll kind of go into a demo so you can kind of see how SuccessPlays look and feel. So one of the most useful ways in which tech can help customer success processes are ways in which we can automate and repeat best practices, right? So it's not always easy to go to your customer success solution and decide what needs to happen every day or what's right for your customers. So when certain conditions occur, certain processes can follow. And why is this good? It leads to the best outcomes, best practices are being used across your team, and it also increases accountability. So what did we do? We built a new feature that we're actually really excited about, and it's available to our current customers. So some of you may have seen it, or if not, you will today. So one of our goals when we were building this was really to make sure that we weren't just automating tasks, but we were also dispatching them in real time to the right people with the right priority. And one of the kind of benefits, or what makes SuccessPlays so powerful, is that we combine the power of Totango that you're already familiar with. So we have data and analytics, workflow, automation, and kind of portfolio segmentation tools. We put all of this together into a set of kind of plays or success plays that run across your organization continuously to ensure that the work gets done by the right people at the right time. So it's kind of just a brief overview. So if you think about SuccessPlays, it's really just kind of three things that sums it up, right? It's who should be affected. So which segment of accounts need to be targeted, and you can segment based off of usage or events and behavior of your accounts and or users, or you can also segment based off any other kind of attribute or custom attribute that you sync with Totango. So the second kind of step is what should be done. What is it that you want to standardize across your team? Is there a certain set of activities that you want to take when account is in poor health, or maybe even on the verge of poor health, right? So kind of the third pillar is when should it be done? So as your accounts fit this criteria that you've defined, Totango will automatically begin creating and assigning tasks to the right member at the right time. So that is kind of just a quick overview. I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to Matt.
Okay. Thanks, Dan. Can everybody hear me? I hope I'm loud enough. So as Dan said, my name is Matt Welker, and I'm the head of client care at Shotgun Software. We were acquired by Autodesk about 14 months ago, and prior to that, we'd been around for about 9 years. So what I want to do today is tell you a little bit about who we are, how we started using Totango, what we're doing now using SuccessPlays, and where we want to take things in the future. That's here. Okay, so Shotgun Software. Shotgun's a collaboration platform. It was designed for production management, review and approval, and we also provide a tool set for building asset management workflows. It was designed specifically for visual effects, animation studios, film production companies, TV production, and game studios. And we're currently in use at over 700 studios around the world. Some of the biggest studios that are doing visual effects and animated movies, Blue Sky, Disney Feature Animation, MacGuff in France, and then the big visual effects studios. So when you see the big blockbuster films, a lot of the work that's done blowing things up has been done by our clients. Okay. So, how we use Totango. So, originally, we started using Totango, and that it was brought in by our product team, primarily Ben Haddon, who's one of our product managers. And the product team was really interested in seeing how the new features that they were releasing were being received by our clients. What was working, what wasn't working, and they were trying to figure out what studios we could partner with to enhance the product and make these features resonate more with clients. So a couple of years ago, Ben brought me into the process, and I've slowly been working Totango into the workflow of my team. Now, my team is called the Street Team, and we're a team of former production folks, so producers and managers and pipeline engineers, and we were all clients of Shotgun at one point or another. And we do everything when it comes to support and client success. My team sort of runs the gamut. So we do everything from frontline support to short-term consulting work, and we do pre-sales demos. We also do training and what we call tuning sessions. So a tuning session is when you get into a go-to meeting with the client and you walk through their site and you help them address some of the issues that they're having. And these are sometimes initiated by our clients. They ask us to hop on a call and walk through something. But frequently these are based on the contents of the tickets that we're receiving from them. So working the inbox helps us see clients that are struggling a little bit, and we can see that they're going off the rails, and it gives us an excuse to jump into a call with them. So when we started using Totango, what I did was I just set up some parameters for my team to use. When they were looking at their client list in Totango, at my biweekly check-ins with them, I'd ask to get an update on who they'd spoken with the previous 2 weeks and who they were going to be reaching out to in the following 2 weeks. And that was based on the value of the client and what their particular health scores were and their engagement. And so it was, they would look at all their clients, they would sort things, they would pick people out, and then we would discuss those things. So there was a bit of work on their part and parsing through some data. So when SuccessPlays were released, it was a few months ago, I started using the beta, and one of the things that we did was we focused primarily on our high-value clients. So just like the parameters that I'd asked them to use before when they were analyzing the clients that they were going to speak to, I did the same thing when it came to setting up the SuccessPlays by focusing on the high-value clients first. And it gives us a way to automatically target the clients that we have bandwidth for. Since we do everything from inbox to the end, it really helps us focus on the clients that we have that bandwidth for without wading through extra data, and it allows us to be very targeted. So we got started with some of the recommended plays. Now, when you get started with the SuccessPlays, there are several recommended plays. When I got started, there were 4 of them. I think there might be more than that now, but Dan will run through that later. So the first one that I did was if the weekly active users drop by more than 25%. So we've always tracked our license count per client, and we had been doing it in our monthly finance meeting. So about a week before the meeting, I would get this list from somebody in finance, and then I would go to my team and I would say, okay, these are the clients that have dropped seats. Can you reach out to them, make sure they're okay, see what's going on? And in our industry, clients, their workflow, a lot of these projects are 8 months long or 16 months or, even shorter. And a lot of times they will get a bunch of work given to them at the end of a show shots have been added or a facility is not going to complete some, so they'll shift over to another client, and that client will hire a bunch of consultants for 2 or 3 months. And so they'll add a bunch of shotgun licenses, and then 3 months later, they'll lose a bunch of licenses. A studio might go from 100 people to 140 people, and then back to 100 people a month later or 2 months later. So we're used to seeing this sort of thing, but it would take us a few weeks before we got that information back. And then my team would have to go to them, and sometimes I would have the data available at the finance meeting, and other times I wouldn't have the data available. So what this play allowed us to do was to see it in more real time. We know last week somebody dropped, and we can reach out right away, and so I've got that data in a little more real time. The next play that we did was to follow up after onboarding After 90 days, if the health of the client isn't good, then it causes us to reach out. It gives everybody a task. They know who to reach out to, and we try to get everybody who's onboarding onto that good phase right away, so then we can track when people are dropping. So that was the second thing we did. We did not use the other two, a kickoff renewal plan or an identify upsell opportunities. And that's just based on the way that my team works pretty much. Most of our clients who are on our hosted solution pay us monthly, so we need to keep them happy all the time. There isn't really a renewal happening. It's happening constantly. And as far as upselling goes, our play on this is that Shotgun works best when everybody in the studio is using it. So that's always been our pitch. And so it's not like we're always trying to upsell as much as we're always trying to get people to use the software at its fullest potential, which is to have everybody using it, which is in a sense an upsell. So we didn't use that. The next one that we used is something that I call send cookies. We like to send things to our clients. We frequently send cookies, or we send pastries, or we send beer. One time, a client was really happy with what was going on and said it did everything he needed if it only would deliver sushi to him. So we sent him a gift card to his favorite sushi restaurant. So we generally try to do these types of things to engage with people, to endear them to the software and to our team, and to make advocates out of them. So we use send cookies when a valuable client goes from average to good. It gives us an opportunity to thank them, to congratulate them, and see what else we can do to help make them even more successful. Finally here, in the near future, what we want to do going forward, my near future plans are to add a couple more of the recognition type of plays for our clients who we have moving in the right direction. Since we are tracking them shortly after onboarding and trying to get them into that good, for those that aren't, we want to keep rewarding them as they move from, just onboarding and getting, as their license utilization is increasing, we want to just keep rewarding them for those things. SuccessPlays are something that we really will continue to use in the future. I'll continue to refine those. I think we've got a pretty good dial on the first few that we've done. In fact, a gal on my team just last week had said, "Oh, those 2 tasks you added today, you didn't really need to do that, or you were right in line because I gave them, I did training sessions with both of those clients yesterday." So it feels like what we had, and she hadn't realized that I was even using the SuccessPlays. So once I told her that it was actually rules-based that were creating those tasks for her, and it wasn't me, it made me realize that we are pretty well dialed in with how they're going. But we'll continue to use more of those as we go forward. So that's all I have right now. There will be questions afterwards, but I think Dan's going to come in and show some more stuff.
Yeah, thanks, Matt. That was great. So just kind of a recap, SuccessPlays kind of lets you automate what needs to happen to your customers and when. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into the screenshots right now. So what you see right here is kind of the first screen if you were to click on SuccessPlays. If you're an existing Totango customer, you would see SuccessPlays on the left-hand side of your navigation. If you're just seeing this for the first time, here it is. So what you may notice is that each of these kind of SuccessPlays right here have this kind of green tag that says recommended. So what we've done, which is kind of what Matt alluded to, is we took some best practices that we either use at Totango for our own customers or stuff that our customers have told us that they do, and we've turned them into SuccessPlays so that people have kind of out-of-the-box SuccessPlays that they're able to turn on and tweak as they need to. So some of these are based off of lifecycle stages. So onboarding, for instance, if a customer is kind of slow in adopting throughout the onboarding process, there's a set of tasks that you can set up that would help either reach out to the key contact for additional training, send some additional materials, or maybe even schedule an on-site. Another could be low adoption after onboarding. So once the life cycle, so once the account changes from kind of onboarding to live or established, however you define it, you're monitoring to see after 60, 90 days, what was that adoption like? How many active users are there? What's their license utilization look like? And how can you intervene? So a couple of others are, are they overusing your product? Are there upsell opportunities that you can have? One that Matt said he uses is a weekly active users dropped, and then one he does not use, which is the kickoff renewal plan. So that's kind of, we try to build in as many best practices as we can, and there's kind of even more that you could do that we're seeing our customers do. Some of them are using it to kind of automatically give a task to their success manager to schedule a QBR or a periodic account review. If there's a new customer, you can organize your entire onboarding plan within Totango. Maybe if there's no customer interaction that was tracked in over 60 days, schedule a call. Just things like that, and we have a lot more resources that kind of give you more ideas about what are the type of plays that would work really well for you. So I imagine I clicked on the Create Success Play button. Now I'm actually going to start defining what this success play is, right? So we got to start off with who. So who should this affect? This is our segmentation. You'll notice that you give it a name and a description. But one of the things that I'm pretty excited about is this kind of ability with quick filters to quickly break down segments. So these are kind of popular ways of breaking down your accounts, and this is kind of, we looked at all the data across our customers. These are the most popular ways of breaking things down. So are they paying? Are they free? If it's health, it's good, average, or poor. And then we looked at kind of two things, which are opportunities and risks. So these are kind of just a couple suggestions for you to break down your accounts in either an opportunity or maybe something that could be at risk. So success plays aren't always a negative thing or trying to take an account from poor to average or good. It could be upselling. It could be, like Matt uses the cookies, a way to reward your customers. So as you kind of begin to add criteria and select these boxes, the area over here on the right side will start to change in real time. So you'll see the number of accounts grow or shrink depending on your segment. You'll see the total contract value grow or shrink, and the average contract value show. You'll see what percentage of the accounts in this segment are out of your entire accounts in your system. And then you'll see a portfolio pie chart, which is kind of weaved throughout our platform. And then below, you'll see kind of a list that builds on the fly of which accounts and some kind of information about those accounts. So you can review them or even search by them if you need to. So the next, so another ability you have is to actually, aside from those quick filters, if you click Advanced, there was a button, a link rather, right here. So if you clicked Advanced, you're taken to the screen. So we have this segment editor also weaved throughout our platform, and it allows you to even further break down your accounts, so to get as granular as you'd like. So if you want to look at accounts based off of life cycle stages or usage or changes, percent changes, however you'd like to break it down, we give you that ability. So here is kind of the second phase of defining a success play, which is what should be done, right? So defining the tasks, and we support kind of multiple tasks. And one of the things that actually I'm really excited about is if you look right here, I'm at the Assign To box, right? So this is who is going to get assigned. We support this idea of a role, so Assign To by role. And the role could be your success manager, or your sales manager, or even just an individual. So if you want to create a task that goes to a success manager of the account, it would automatically assign to them. And maybe you want to create another task that maybe goes to a second person. So you'd create an additional task, and maybe that assigned to could say, in my case, maybe it wants to go to our Chief Customer Officer, who we know that individual. It's not based off of a role. It's some sort of escalation. You can set that there as well. You have the same flexibility in the assign by. You're able to set priority. So based on the type of SuccessPlay you're creating, maybe it's higher priority than others. You can set something to high. And then also kind of the last step, which is when, right? So when an account enters this segment, when should this kind of activity be completed by, right? So when should this CSM or whomever is assigned this task complete it? So if the account enters on, let's say, Monday, how many days these tasks will get created and assigned? How many days until does the success manager have until they need to complete it, right? So just days after creation, essentially. So the last step is kind of just really reviewing what you've done. So are these the right tasks? Is this the right segment? The right due dates? You can preview everything and really just activate it. So it is really that simple. And I kind of want to take a couple more minutes to talk to you about some of the other things that we've done. So right here, this is just confirming that the tasks that you're about to create are in fact what you want to create. Here is what a SuccessPlay looks like if it's already been running. So you can see that 80 accounts were impacted, 120 tasks were created. You can see that 30 have been completed, 80 are open. You can see the breakdown in this color bar. Here are the 2 tasks that are kind of within the SuccessPlay and the breakdown of those. If you click View right here, you would see a list of all these specific tasks that are open, who they are assigned to, and what their status may be. Same goes for the other one. You would see, again, which accounts below right here in this list that were targeted or impacted. So that's SuccessPlays. I want to show you something that we released very recently, which is a task and touchpoint sync with Salesforce. So this is pretty new. A lot of our customers that have turned it on are really excited about it. So this is built for those that use Salesforce as their system of record for activity history. They're able to view opened activities directly from an SF account record, and they also have the ability to create reports and dashboards within Salesforce based on Totango tasks and touchpoints to give kind of outside teams insight into what's going on. So if everyone else in your company is using Salesforce for everything else, and your team primarily sticks to Tango or sticks to Tango, they're able to see dashboards as to what's being done, how often you guys are touching your customers, how many tasks are open and being completed. So that's something that's really exciting, and we have more information available, but for any customers out there, should definitely take advantage of this. I also wanted to take a moment to kind of highlight another customer. So we've had quite a few amazing customers, such as Matt and Shotgun, kind of find value in SuccessPlays. But I wanted to provide at least one other use case from another customer that we have, Vend. So for those not familiar, Vend is a kind of point of sale or POS solution, and their customer success org is growing very rapidly. And they support kind of both models of high touch and low touch based on kind of contract value or plan. And I won't kind of read off the screen here, but basically they're using SuccessPlays to focus on their high touch accounts. So similar, Matt is focusing on high value customers. Vend is doing the same. So they find value in that. One of the really cool things about Vend is that they're a very, very global company. So they have offices, especially with success managers around the world. So Germany, New Zealand, San Francisco, all over. And what they've noticed is that they're leaning really hard on SuccessPlays in order to kind of scale their team and kind of operate consistently across the globe. So kind of just another example of, of a customer being able to take advantage of SuccessPlays and the value that they've found. So that is what we've got for today. I'd love to kind of open it for questions for both Matt and myself.
Great, thanks, Dan. Yeah, so Dan and Matt, go ahead and take a look at some of the questions that have come through, and I'll go ahead and encourage everyone to submit any questions they might have for either Matt at Shotgun Software or Dan from Totango in the chat window in the bottom left corner. We have had a few come in, a couple sort of technical ones for you, Dan. So, can you see, we talked about assigning tasks, and maybe, Matt, you could speak to this too. So you've assigned CSMs some tasks, but then sometimes they might not complete them. How do those CSMs and you view which tasks have not been completed? Matt, do you want to answer that one first, and then Dan can take it?
Sure. What I do is, I just go to my SuccessPlays, and it shows me everything that's going on and how many tasks have been assigned, how many have been completed, how many are not completed, and how many are overdue. And so I can just click on that and drill down and see whose tasks, you can see whose tasks are who I need to talk to follow up, and then I review these at my biweekly meetings with my team. So we'll look at their stuff and see what's overdue and see and talk about those clients. So yeah, you do have visibility on that.
Great. And Dan, do you want to elaborate from the product
Sure.
point of view?
So kind of in addition to leveraging this screen that I have up right now, we also have some reporting abilities, so you can see which tasks are open and not completed for whichever accounts. So you would actually build kind of a list that you can review in addition to kind of using this. I would probably recommend this is your best bet, but we kind of offer multiple ways to ensure that your team is really completing the tasks that they've been assigned. Also, there's a filter kind of, and I wish I had the screen open, but there is a way for instance, if the tasks are coming from Matt and they're going to his team, there's a filter that he has on his dashboard to see few tasks that I've assigned to others. And then he would see that entire breakdown of all tasks, whether they came from a success play or not. So there's multiple ways to kind of manage the team in terms of tasks.
Great, thanks. Let's jump to another question. So a lot of questions about the integrations with the tasks. And so one audience member asked, in addition to Salesforce, do we integrate with other tools like Wrinkle, Asana, and Clarizen? Dan, do you want to answer that?
Sure. So we currently only integrate with Salesforce with tasks, and that's a one-way sync from Totango to Salesforce. We currently do not sync with kind of the other project management tools as of yet.
Great. And then question for you, Matt. People just want to know a little bit more, I guess, deeper about your customer success practices. So have you used, they say the platform, I'm assuming Totango, for client onboarding, adoption, or retention. So I know that in this presentation you spoke specifically about SuccessPlays, but would you like to describe at a higher level how you use Totango as your customer success platform?
Sure. We use it in multiple different phases. I can think of 3 phases that we use it. In one sense, we use it, like I mentioned earlier, our product team was first to start using it. So our product team uses it to gauge the success of new features and to help refine those features and to find clients to reach out to help them work on how to find clients that we need to talk to evolve the features. People who are using things a lot can provide a lot of feedback. So from the product side, we use it even without thinking about client success so much when it comes to like a support or success team, which is what my team does. On my team, we use it for onboarding and for retention. So after onboarding, we track people's health through onboarding, and then at the end of the 90 days, we take a gauge of where they are, and that determines whether we're going to reach out to them, whether they're doing good or if they're, it sounds wrong to say doing good, right? Doing well, but if they're in the good, if they're only an average, then we reach out to them and we try to move them to the good range. So we do use it for more like post-onboarding. As far as retention, we're constantly, monitoring things, and we're constantly reaching out to our customers. So we do use it for retention in that sense. We also use it when clients are evaling. So we're tracking their health through the eval process. And so I'll look at the clients that are doing really well, and it gives us an opportunity to reach out to them. I share that information with members of the sales team, so they know in their geographies who's doing real well, who's doing well, and they know where the sales potentials might be. So we use it there as well. Does that answer everything?
Yeah, great. Thank you. And then I think diving back into SuccessPlays, Dan, a couple more technical questions about the feature. They want to know, so we saw that you assign tasks to account managers or customer success managers. Does everyone that gets assigned a task have to be a Totango user, and do they have to log into Totango to see those tasks, or are there other places that they can view those?
Right. So I guess to answer your question, they do have to be Totango users in order to have a task assigned to them. I think that if they're maybe primarily using Salesforce, for instance, they would be able to see that within the activity history. But in terms of Totango, if someone is going to be using tasks and responsible for tasks, they have to be a user.
Great, thank you. I think we've gotten through the majority of the questions. I wanted to assure all of the audience members that yes, we've been recording today's presentation, and we will be sending out the replay to everyone that could attend and could not attend. On the screen displayed, you'll see some follow-up contact information for both Matt at Shotgun Software and for Dan at Totango. We'd love for you to send us any other questions or let us know what more you would like to know about customer success best practices or specific feature usage. On the screen, you'll see Matt and Dan's Twitter handles as well as personal email addresses, as well as the company Twitter handles and emails. So go ahead and reach out to us. Just wanted to say a big thank you to our customer, Matt, for joining us today and providing that use case, and to Dan for showing the demo. Guys, do you want to say a good farewell?
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Cheers. Have a good day, everyone. Take care.